Hello everyone, welcome back to PLD Disc Golf. It's been a while, but we're coming at you with some awesome coverage from the Greater Peoria Tour, and thank goodness I'm not alone. I've got Ben back again.
I'm back again. Looking forward to watching some disc golf on some tough courses out here.
Absolutely. So at Northwood Park here today, we're doing 2 rounds. We're going to start off with black shorts, and then we're going to move to black longs for round 2. You always know when black longs is on the course schedule, you're probably looking at winning scores over par. So
definitely, especially for MA1. For anyone watching who doesn't know, this is one of the courses that the pros play on tour, and is one of the hardest, if not the hardest course that the pros will play all year.
I think everyone knows when they see it coming. So starting us off on what I consider an iconic hole 1, 455-foot par 3. This is just a gentle bend to the right. You want to throw something, the righty backhand just to turn over.
Yep. Not a hole you necessarily need to get a birdie on. Par plays just fine. Hey, it's me. I'm on the coverage. We've got myself, Carson Fowler, and Jared Holt also returning to our coverage from McNaughton, and I believe a newcomer to the coverage in Carter Rogers.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see Carter play. He's a son of one of our local players, Steve Rogers, who's also a pretty solid player too. So see how he tackles the infamous hole 1.
And I tell you what, that is not what you're looking for off the first tee. You do not want to be over left. There is OB if you get farther down left. I did not make it to it, so I'm going to have a really tricky spot from there.
True.
Trying to get back down to the fairway.
Absolutely. Get the nerves off the first tee. It happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. Carson going to hammer on something nice and flat. He's not much of a hyzer thrower. He just throws overstable stuff with a little bit of turn.
Yeah, I believe that's his buzz coming out, and he's going to throw that thing a lot all day, especially on shorts, and throws it well.
Very good. And then Jarrett, the hyzer master, I will call him. He
he
always
like
lines up the
hyzers.
hyzer. Yep. So Carson's going to be the flat... oh, man, I want to come up with nicknames now. But yeah, Carson's the flat thrower. Jared's the hyzer guy.
Yep. I believe this is his cicada.
A
Yeah.
little more understable of a disc than I would expect, but I mean,
yeah, I think he's trying to hit that on a little more hyzer. Still a fine shot, puts him in the fairway. And Carter, I think, is going a little bit slower speed, maybe some sort of putter, trying to put it in the middle. And yeah, that's a tough tree to hit. It's kind of, he and I both made the mistakes you can't make on this one. Yeah, I'm about 15 feet off the tee pad here, just trying to pitch out back to the fairway, but it's tough. And I clipped some cabbage going up high, and I'm still not out of bounds, so that's good. But yeah. I'm also not nearly back to the fairway.
This is a harder shot than off the tee. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, and I clipped some more stuff up high, and that is now out of bounds in that stuff. So I'm throwing 4 from there, 5 from there, throwing something big from there. That's the shot I was trying to throw the first time out into the fairway. Gotcha. So definitely a rough start for a long day of disc golf.
Actually, and if I recall correctly, I think this is about 15 minutes from when we threw Carter shot off the tee to this point.
Yeah.
We were looking
for my disc twice and Carter's once. That stuff is thick over there. I believe Carter's in bounds here, but it's going to be pretty tight on the line on the left side. Yeah, it looks like he was in bounds. So definitely, especially for me and Carter, not the start you're looking for. And really, not a great scenario for Carson or Jared either, because they have to wait about 20 minutes after throwing their drives to throw their second shots.
Now they're ice cold, stepping up here in the middle of the fairway. Now, yeah, this is actually a pretty open shot for Jared. So he's just going to throw one of his gentle hyzers, wants it to kind of crash the basket.
Actually ripping a little bit of Annie. But that's a nice shot. Maybe a hair short circle's edge putt to start his day, but nothing wrong with that.
All right. Carson on the right side, common collection point.
Yep. See, looks zone, a little bit of flex out of his hand probably.
Yep, that is the blue zone.
Oh yeah.
We see it all over central Illinois, so.
And that's a very nice shot. Should be well inside circle there.
Yep. Okay. I think you throwing, this is
Throwing
6.
Is it 5 or 6?
think
Either
it's
way,
6.
it's a lot, and it's not good. Yeah, that's just really fluffed out of my hand. Little background, I've been struggling a little bit with an elbow injury or elbow pain, so I haven't really been throwing many forehands outside of tournaments. It's a shot I rely on a lot. Yeah, you can see the frustration there, just not the way I want to start my round. So I think you saw in the McNaughton coverage and in here, the forehands have been a little bit rusty when I've been taking them out.
Okay. Now, as people are aware, we're shooting this production coverage a month later. How's that treating you now?
It's felt a little bit better the last couple times I've been throwing it, but still just kind of taking it easy as much as I can.
Good closing on Carter's end, too.
Yeah.
It's easy to kind of let your confidence and focus slip when you've been battling the front half of the fairway on the green. So, yeah, good putt there.
Definitely.
Jared.
Solid putt for Jared as well. Good par to start the round.
Yep, so that was a 6 for Carter. We got Carson on the backside for his par as well.
I'm tapping in my 8.
Yep.
Not the way you want to start your round, because there's a lot of hard holes out here, but this is not the one to take the huge number on.
It's true.
Well, it was playing pretty hard today. 0.78 strokes over par for the first round, so definitely not a gimme.
Yep. All right, guys, we're back at it, and I'm going to be shouting out a ton of awesome sponsors, including Power Grip. Just visited them over in Bloomington area. Zach Parcells got a great setup. You know, Power Grip is just a power partner for disc golf here in Central Illinois, so very grateful for what they do. Keep on doing it.
Yep, hole 2, we've got par 4, 505 feet. We actually, this drone flyover started from the long pad. We're starting from the short pad over to the right. So your first shot wants to be mostly a turning kind of mid-range, maybe putter. Just get to the landing zone at the top of the hill, and then you have a straight shot, dodging a couple trees down to the basket. Watch out for a little slopey green on this one. Can get you into some trouble.
Always, yeah. Anytime the fairway is sloping away from you and it's hard packed, it's very hard to come in with some touch to keep it close on the basket side. So that was a decent turnover for Carson.
Yeah, it looks a little inside maybe.
I
think you want to hang it out a little wider. This is kind of the same idea from Jared. It's the right shape that you want, but you want to start that at just 5-10 feet farther to the left, and then you can get to the perfect landing zone.
Honestly, if you just throw it straight off of this tee, a lot of people obviously like to cut off distance for their approach shot, but just throwing it straight 200 feet up this hill, and a little sawed off.
Yeah, that'll be in trouble.
Yeah, I always fall prone to cutting it off on the inside here, which is really not what you're doing, not what you want to do. But
it's easy to do. It's kind of what the shot, because you'd rather do that than leak it straight.
Yeah, true.
This is pretty much what I'm looking for. That's a little more overstable of a disc than what Carson and Jared were throwing, so I think it fought out back to the middle a little better.
Yeah. I think with the forehand, too, it's easier to commit to that super Anheuser angle with something overstable to fight out.
That's definitely true. And, yeah, Carter's able to make some good progress there. It looks like he should be able to have a chance at least at getting up and down for par.
You faked me out on camera, so wasn't able to get the perfect view of that, but
it's all right. We forgive you, Payton.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, so a little short of the preferred landing zone, so Carson's having to kind of hang a little bit on Anheuser. It flattens out a little bit, but that's not a bad result. He's going to be kind of edge of circle 2, left side. There's a downed log over there that's not in the way, but pretty open look at the basket. Yeah,
it looks like Jared's kind of in the similar spot, just a little farther up, having to throw the flex around the corner.
Oh, and
that's a nice shot. If it gets past, so it ends up a little bit short, but still very nice. Yeah, and this is the best drive I've thrown off the short pad, I think.
Nice.
I only recently started doing the forehand play off of this, so definitely gonna stick with it.
Nice and controlled, definitely. Yeah, just a little approach-ish chipper.
Yep.
Oh.
Except you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
I was telling myself I should have thrown a forehand, because usually I'm in the same spot that Jared and Carson were. I'm used to that chop forehand around the corner. Mid-range backhand, not my specialty, as anyone who's played with me will know.
Get a disc in your hand that you're confident in throwing and hitting a gap, and you can just play on the speed a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, even an straight to understable fairway driver, tempo down, just to try to hit the line if if that gives you more confidence, I would always recommend confidence is key, especially here at Northwood. This
I couldn't agree more.
Decent shot here. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good line on it. It's going to be a little bit deep, it looks like. So probably, hopefully, not too long of a comebacker, but probably more than he wanted out of his hand. Jared from, looks like about 50 for his birdie. And that's a little bit floated.
That's committed from what I've seen in the past before. That was committed. He put it over the basket, so.
Yeah, but that's one of the problems with this green is, especially this one with that downslope, you miss that putt, and Carson's going to have the same thing. It's not an unmakeable putt. It's a 25-footer coming back, but it's more than you want for par.
Agreed.
And, yeah, Carter has that same look we were talking about. A little bit farther.
Circle's edge.
Yeah. Oh, dang. It's a good stroke from him. Just couldn't quite get it on the pole.
Yep, he will be taking his bogey with that tap in. Let's see if Jared can close out the par here.
Yeah, it's a nice putt.
I'm working on it, guys. I'm gonna get a par graphic, especially for Northwood Park. Like I
Pars
have to.
Pars are good out here.
Yeah,
pars are always good.
Celebrate not taking strokes on a hole, So.
Oh yeah, even on shorts. I mean, this hole was playing a full half a stroke over par.
Okay.
It's like there's no gimmies out here.
It's that setup. I think really the first shot people take for granted, but that setup shot matters, and getting you to a place where you're comfortable with hitting a gap for your second shot. It's hard to do, and I think as an amateur, we're always, programmed to try to get as much distance as we can, and tend to be overzealous off the tee when in reality we're just looking for a chip. That was a good putt, man.
Thank you. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's hard to make yourself kind of get into that mode. There's so many courses we play around here that are birdie or die, not Northwood.
No way, Jose. All right, and once again, a huge shout out to Prodigy Discs. They've come alongside Dalton, the tournament director here for GPO, or in GPT actually, organizer for it all. Done amazing stuff with the plastic, hooking us up for the events. Great stuff. So thank you, Prodigy, for everything that you've done. Another thing here, flying from the long pad, but you just saw the short pad that we passed. So.
Yep. Hole 3 here, 453 feet. It's a par 4. Don't need a lot off the tee pad. Most players are going to play the chip forehand just down to the bottom, and then you have kind of a tricky approach, really bad rough, and a creek on the left side that you want to avoid on the second shot. So, and a bowl green that's can be tricky to access if you're not in a good spot off the drive. But like I said, I would expect to see all four hands, and obviously my lefty backhand off the tee here.
Always throwing us for a loop on the coverage.
Yeah, this looks good. It might be pushing a little bit too far straight. Usually, if you're going fast driver, you want to be putting a little bit higher and really pushing to the right.
Yeah. So one thing we don't really talk about, especially on this hole, while Jared throws his forehand, that looks okay. It'll push and fade. Yep.
Yeah, that's into a good spot.
People aim for the left fairway. It's a pretty straight gap that you just want to throw something dead straight down, and then it'll settle down at the basket. But there is a little bit of an aisle on the right-hand side, too. So for people who wanted to probably get aggressive, go really high with the hyzer, and probably fight through like the center trees, you might even give yourself something like an even straighter approach.
I think there's a chance for it. I just think with the angle off the tee pad, it's not really a play that a lot of people are going for.
Gotcha.
And that's a little sawed off again for Carter.
But I mean, if that
but that can definitely get to a spot, and I definitely see. I mean, I've gone plenty of times not taking the straight left fairway on the second shot. Plenty of people will take that hyzer around the outside to the right on the second shot. So.
It's just safe from the creek. The creek is not something that I would say the top players aren't really focusing on, but as an amateur with your errors. I mean, that's where you want to be. It clips that last tree there. It would have settled down kind of in the circle 2 range, but with clipping that tree, he's going to be outside of circle 2, just kind of a pitch up.
Yeah, but like we said, pars are good out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like Carson did push a little bit too far straight on his drive, so he's going to be trying the flex forehand, I think on the left side, kind of pushing along the creek. It's a tricky shot.
It is.
And that's a really good second tree. So that tree, if he hadn't hit the second one, that disc is probably over the creek. It's not OB, but it's not fun either.
No, you really have to invent a gap when you're over there. There's so much undergrowth that kind of, hugs the slope and guards that green.
Here I am taking that right side we were talking about on the second shot. And that should be down there for a putt, I believe. Maybe a little bit deep, but should be a good spot. And Jared also pushed deep on his drive. I think he was going a little bit faster of a disc out of his hand, too.
And that's just fine right there, too.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get down to the bottom, but they'll have to take his medicine there.
Mm-hmm. Pretty tough from that position to be able to stick the green, and Carson doing it with the zone here. He's going to try to execute something similar, a little bit shorter of a shot.
Yeah, and he rips over on it a little bit. I think it might have fought through a little bit. He might have a long putt there. And Jared's just trying to chip this down.
I'll say the forehand shots, and this is like around the 120 range. It's hard to have touch, I would say, trying to approach a green like that with the forehand too. So
well, that's one of the unique kind of areas in our game where, so for me personally, I have a ultimate background, so I was throwing those kind of touchy forehands since I was a little kid. So I actually really like throwing those little touchy forehands. But for someone who doesn't have that kind of background, has only been playing disc golf, it's a really hard shot to just let your wrist do all the work and just chip it in there.
So we have an ultimate Frisbee elitist here on the commentary.
I don't know if I'd call myself an elitist.
Oh my gosh, great putt. It did fight through, it did get to the green, and that's a fantastic circle 2 putt. So good on you.
That's why Carson keeps beating me at all these tournaments. He makes those putts every time.
He beats a lot of people. And that's good
solid
cleanup
putt
there.
From Jared as well.
Yeah. Good 4.
And this is my birdie putt. So it helps a little bit after the disaster on one. Trying to sneak one stroke back at least.
Yeah, so you got some ground play. It carried you from the upper bluff down to the greens.
Yeah, I think I had it high enough that it kind of flew down there, but definitely fought through the undergrowth.
All right, huge shout out to Double Eagle Disc Golf. They are an awesome group of guys down in Bradenton, Florida, with a shop, looking to sponsor a lot of juniors too with their Eagle team. So thanks for kicking back to the tour. We're gonna move on to hole 4.
Yep, hole 4. We've got 520 feet. It's a par 4. Most players are looking to play through as the drone is flying, landing basically underneath the drone right here, and then chipping across the creek on the second shot. But you have 2 options of a gap on your drive and then a couple trees to miss on the second shot to get to the green.
Absolutely. And
I'm opting for the left line with a little bit of a hyzer, hopefully.
And that is a beautiful shot.
That is about as good as I can throw it, except for being a foot too high. And it did not get the kick out to the right that I was hoping for, and instead into jail on the left.
Yes, and that is jail for sure. You want your error to be on the right side, and that's a rule of thumb for any dogleg holes. You always want to miss on the away side of the turn. So this will be okay here.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll be able to
gobbled
push.
up a little bit.
Yeah, he won't be able to push the green, I don't think.
I'm kind of surprised to see Carson going with the forehand with how good his backhand is, but obviously his forehand is solid as well.
That's, I think, kind of what you were looking for.
Yeah, that's exactly the shot I was trying to throw. Yep. Very nice from Jared. Carter's going a little bit bigger. Oh, man.
That actually would have been bad either way. Without that kick, he's pushing, I think, really deep through that turn. He might have been deep.
I'm not sure how far it was going. There's still a lot of way past that tree, but either way, I'm sure he would have preferred to not have hit the tree and been farther along the fairway.
Oh, and Carson gets aggressive, pushes it. He settles down. He's going to be in that bush short of the bridge, and I don't think he has a look.
It's a tough spot down there.
Yes.
I'm trying to just pitch out around the corner here. Not bad. I should have a look across from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carter is in more jail than I was. Yeah, this is, again, just a pitch out. It should be at least.
Yes.
Man, doesn't quite make it out. It's hard to say how aggressive you should be on those shots when you're stuck back there. It's like, I can push through this stuff.
I appreciate the compliment.
Jared appreciates us. It's good to know. Or maybe he's... Okay. Sorry, I was trying to...
I forget the context. Yeah, it's all good.
But it's just that risk-reward game is really hard to make the judgments on, especially when it's kind of a a type of golf that, like I was saying earlier, not something we're really used to playing unless we're playing here.
Yeah.
Or-
Agreed. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of courses with this thick of underbrush that when you're in it, it's taking an OB stroke, right? And taking an OB stroke on an already incredibly difficult course, yeah, it's just going to keep adding strokes. So that's why this course is built to just take strokes from you. And
Wow.
what a play. It got caught up in the overhead branches. That's one of the
Still,
only
yeah.
risks of trying to push the green here over the top.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks
still
like
a very
Jared's-
nice shot from Carter. Jared,
He challenges it too.
yeah,
but he
keeps
gets
it
across.
low enough. It'll be a long putt. Hung it out a little bit far to the left, but he'll have something coming back there. Let's see. Going
Yeah,
for the
the-
backhand.
Simple hyzer up there. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
Double Mando. You hit it.
Oh yeah. I don't like my footing on that shot though. For the next one, it's always a little tricky on that hillside. And Carter, yeah, in a nasty spot down here. In the
He's
bushes.
trying all of the positions he can, straddling and looking up, down along the creek, maybe a water skip shot or something.
I don't
know.
think so.
Nah. No one's ever tried it. No one ever will. I don't think so. Let's see. Okay, yeah, he's got the forehand lined up to
Yeah,
go over
maybe-
top.
Maybe thumber or something, and kind of back into the creek there. Creek plays casual, thankfully, so that no B stroke or anything, but still not fun to be in there.
Yeah, when you're up here at the bridge, it runs perpendicular to your path to the basket. But there where he was, it runs in line. So
Yeah.
if you get into the creek and try to take casual relief, you're taking it back another 100 feet, and then it's impossible.
Yeah, the last
So-
tournament I played in there, I just
Yeah.
took one for the team and got my feet wet. Tried to save myself a stroke.
So a pitch up there on Carson's side. And Carter looking to close this one out.
Yeah.
He wants to stop the bleeding as much as possible.
Yeah, this would be a huge putt. I can't quite get it there.
Mm-hmm. I can say on my side, like when I'm putting from there, there's a little bit of fear. You really commit to one and get a disc to go over the basket. You could push to the rough and have a really tough comebacker. Even if it is 20 feet, it's a lot of the bushes and undergrowth push the greens here. Oh,
Yeah, just yanked the putt. Not what I'm looking for.
yeah. Tap in your bogey from there.
Yep. That's a nice putt from Jared.
Solid putt, good par.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, the only mistake there hitting the tree on his second shot, but he
Yeah, but good
recovers
recovery
quite well.
after
Yeah,
that. Yep, definitely. Is this Carter tapping in for double?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was a
Single.
single.
Okay.
Yep. So he only got caught up with the one rough to rough shot, and
Gotcha,
Carson with
yeah.
his bogey as well. So yeah, I would expect here in the first 4-hole stretch, if you're looking to play pretty well, especially in our area, you're probably looking 1 or 2 down.
Yeah, I think so.
Is definitely possible. So.
Yeah.
Once again, sponsors for Greater Peoria Tour have been awesome. Great Lakes Discs from Michigan, kicking back to the event. They are also going to be equipping the Greater Peoria Open with Crew 42. They're going to be coming down to get some good MPO coverage of the event. So
All right.
thanks to them as we move on to hole 5.
Yeah, hole 5, we've got 451 feet. It's another par 4. You really don't need much distance at all off your drive. About 260 feet plus or minus 10 feet is all you get, though.
It's tight.
It's a very tight, specific landing zone that you're looking for, and then you're pitching up usually a righty forehand up the hill. And there also is a log that will stop you getting this nice skip that Jared got most of the time if you push it straight. That looks pretty good from Jared. Probably a little bit early left, so he might have a tricky second shot, but
As we've been playing it, though, and I'll mention as you throw your shot
Yeah.
here, the inside gaps have been opening up. As people play it, I think trees are also maturing and maybe falling out of the airspace. That's good. A little bit on the inside, too.
yeah,
but it could fight.
I'll be around the same spot as Jared there. I don't think I pushed it quite far enough.
But people actually play short, maybe play around the logs. They actually have a more straighter gap over in the airspace to play to the green. And I see people playing it more and more.
I haven't seen anyone play that on purpose, personally. Very nice shot from Carson there. Man, Carter's having trouble getting it out in the right direction here.
Yeah, it looks like he commits very well to his shot. He gets his head turned backward for some of these committed shots, and that's good. And maybe involved a little bit over rotation, leading to an early release. But yeah, just got to take medicine.
Yeah,
that's
a
tough
smart
on this
play.
part.
It hurts to do, but it's the right play. Yeah, this is a little tricky spot. You want to be 15 feet farther down the fairway, and then I have a straight look. So I think I'm trying to go for the forehand roller, holding it out on cut initially and then turning at the end. A pretty technical shot, one that I don't want to have to be throwing. And yeah, I leave it on a little bit too much cut there. It'll be fine. It should be a pretty easy up and down from there, but
I think it's hard to make an error just getting through the gap on that one, because if you push where you did, you've got a look to the basket. If you execute your shot perfectly, obviously it's going to be great. But if it goes to the right too, there's some looks over there too. There's not a look from there.
Yeah, that's a
you
tough
just
spot.
want to get on top of the hill.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was trying to avoid. I wanted to make sure if I was throwing that forehand, get it on cut and don't leave it early. This is a great drive from Carson. Maybe he pushed it like a hair too far, but I'll have a very good look.
I don't always give it the greatest perspective, but yeah, that was a good shot. A little bit deep of like center of that landing zone, so he just had a simple chipper, and I think he's going to be about 15 feet short of the green. And Carson,
pretty close.
He pulled that a little bit.
Yeah,
but
looks like he had maybe some tricky footwork there. Yeah, Jared trying to go through the backside.
He fights up there.
Yeah, it's a really good shot. Not a play that I would recommend personally. Having been back there, there's a lot of trees to hit. And this is me, taking my medicine, not trying to do anything silly. Let's see if Carter can get something going a little bit. Man. Just not really feeling it yet.
Yeah. I'm not going to say I know what goes through Carter's head, but I can tell you the mental fortitude definitely gets challenged when you're out here too, because you're telling yourself, hey, if I've got an open line to the basket, I'm in circle 2. You're kind of trying to overcommit and put too much pressure on yourself to close out on a hole. A great birdie from Carson.
For sure, yeah.
Well
Very
played.
nice birdie.
Yep. But don't let any simple strokes get away from you. And Carter taps out his double bogey.
Yeah, that's a tough one to take on this hole. Oh, Jared.
You don't want to take that double there. And
yeah, you can't do that. Man, that's tough to watch.
And we will have a discussion about what on earth could that have possibly been as we're walking over to the next hole. But
that one left us a little dumbfounded.
It's all right. So NADGT, the National Amateur Disc Golf Tour, they're going to be sending some invites to the National Championships, which is an amazing experience down in Austin, Texas. You don't want to miss it if you have the opportunity. So thank you guys for helping elevate the tour to the next level.
Yep.
Hole 6.
Yeah, 790 feet, par 5. Technically eagleable for the huge arms from the short pad, but it takes a lot of doing. Huge dog leg to the left after about 450 feet from the tee. And then just keep going left, and eventually you get to the basket.
Yeah, I would say, so in years prior, this actually was up, forward, and left a little bit, 100 feet, essentially, further down the fairway. Definitely a lot more eagleable from there. I've had a couple opportunities myself.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think now... this is someone given a 450 to 500 foot rip to actually get to a good place to push to the basket. So that was a good pull from Carson's.
It's definitely a good kick to get back to the fairway.
Yes, 100%.
Going right there gets you into some trouble.
Yeah. So honestly, if you've got 200-300 foot shots from there where you land, which is great, you're going to want another 300 foot kind of flat dumping forehand shot. For the lefty.
That's all I'm looking for there.
Yeah. We amateurs get overzealous with the distance, and
this is the shot that I think Jared's trying to push to the corner. Doesn't quite get it to flip as much as he wants it to.
I've seen him.
He definitely has the power to get there if he connects on one.
Yes. I think we will be impressed sometime this round. A little bit of a spoiler, but I think we'll be impressed by some of Jared's capabilities. And
he throws far.
He
throws
can.
really hard.
Yes, for sure.
Carter also throws really hard. Kind of a different throwing style, but I think I've seen him. I've played with him a couple times here. I've seen him get close to the corner as well.
Yeah, not a bad result there from Carter. He might have to might have his run up impeded, but being on the right side does open up more of a straight line to the curve. You're not having to do something like Carson's trying to do, fighting through the gap. But that was a solid.
It's a good shot. It looks like it's pushing a little too far straight, maybe. I'm kind of surprised to not see him just throw a backhand hyzer, but a well-executed shot's hard to argue with.
Right.
And like you said earlier, I'm just trying to get this forehand chip around the corner. And
Yeah,
that
high is
looks like it
going to
should be
help
the
the
job.
overstability. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, good result.
Oh, man, and Carter's in a really tricky spot
I
here.
forgot about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just kind of what happens at Northwood, too. Your round's having some trouble, and then you feel like you can't get a break the entire time.
Yeah.
It's just a mental battle sometimes.
And that's a good forehand roller, trying to push around the corner too. Incredibly common to be on the inside, even sometimes on your second shot too. So that forehand roller usually gets broken out here on this second or third shot to make the corner.
Yeah, definitely. Man. It's tough. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I don't know what to say about that.
You get suffocated in here. Sometimes it just feels like you cannot breathe, and that's what it'll do to you sometimes. And
Yep.
Carter will shape up as well too. He'll get back into the groove of things as well. This is not his usual game, but he'll play pretty well, and that's a well executed shot too from Carson.
Yeah, it's a nice throw.
Putting out there. Some tight gaps trying to hit from where he was too, so it's a little aggressive if you want to try to push the green.
Yeah, probably. It was a smart shot to just kind of pitch it up. Carter here.
He puts it up high
High
and
good
ends
shot.
up
Yeah,
left.
I couldn't quite see where it finished, but should be able to get up and down from there, I would think. Hopefully. I pushed my forehand a little bit too far, looking for this kind of flex forehand. This is where a lot of shots end up filtering down. You get a lot of rollaways down to the bottom side of this fairway. And I'm struggling to... I think the tree behind me's, or the one in front of me, is getting into my head a little bit. I don't want to hit my hand.
Oh, fight. And that is well done if it misses those trees on the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah, I think I pushed it a little deep even. It's the beauty of a well-seasoned disc right there. I've had that thing in my bag for, 6 years now.
Is that your
maybe.
Firebird?
That's my PD.
Oh, gotcha.
Really beat up old Innova-made C-Line PD.
Oh,
That is
gotcha.
my absolute baby.
Those guys straighten out so much. I think we all, watching the Pro Tour, have seen Joey Buckets.
Oh, yeah, Joey Buckets is throwing them.
Slaying with those PDs.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a putt
there it
from Carter.
is.
Wow.
The 5 save.
That's ridiculous.
Holy
From
crud.
about 60 feet.
Yeah.
What a putt.
All right, editor Payton, please tell me we got that on a replay.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There it is. Yeah, just great commitment. He really dips the disc down and gets his body, his back activated in that jump putt.
Repping Illini disc golf, too. Got to shout out my guys over there.
Good deal. Good shot, Carter.
Yeah. Let's see. Is Carson going to get big putted?
I think he does.
Yeah, looks
He
like
scares
it.
the basket, though.
That's a tough one to fully commit to.
Most definitely. Can you close out, too?
Let's see.
We need to get on the scoring train here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I cannot. Just not popping it out of my hand somehow.
So as we clean up here around the basket, I want to kind of propose something. For me, I don't know why, on tougher courses, I get over-amped for birdie putts, but I'm less amped for bogey putts.
Okay.
So I've kind of played with it a couple rounds out here where I convince myself I'm putting for bogey when I'm looking to putt for birdie. So trying to relieve the stress of trying to score and just fight the stroke play.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I try to forget what each shot is.
But you have to tell them at the end of the next hole, right? You got to keep score.
Yeah, then you got to count.
All right, guys, I just bought discs from OTB. Literally 100% exactly as advertised. Great shipping. They're just awesome. So thank you, OTB, for kicking back to this.
Yep, they're great.
All right, one of what was a finicky hole has now become a little bit more playable as years have passed and trees have gotten removed from the fairway. But hole 7, a 325-foot par 3, the righty backhand just looking to throw it pretty much as straight as you can. Try to find either the left large gap, the larger of the two gaps, or kind of sneak through the right side.
Yeah, I would say still definitely as you're playing, it feels kind of the least fair of all the holes out here, if that makes sense. I don't think it's an unfair hole, per
It's
se.
just finicky.
But it's for kind of the wide fairways in the woods that we get at Northwood, which is just such a treat. This hole feels a little out of place here on this course sometimes.
It's true, but it gives you a taste of the original like Golds track that ran through Blues too, right? Because you had a lot of really tight fairways you had to challenge. But granted, this is still even a little
on
bit
Blues.
more challenging.
I don't necessarily disagree completely, but I would say even the holes on Blues, they're tighter fairways than you get on Blacks, but they're also mostly for the par threes where you're not being tasked to throw quite as far.
Which, I mean, we say, I think we're over.
That looked like a really good shot from Carter.
A couple of tree ejections here.
Yep.
But yeah, I would say really the true key to this hole now is just to throw kind of like what Jared did, where you throw something straighter through the left side gap, and if it hyzers out, like give yourself a circle 2 look. Like this is one where maybe if you just planned for circle 2 and be confident from your circle 2 putts, maybe that's the way to play it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I personally like the flex play on the right side,
Okay.
Especially for the forehand where I can kind of get over on it on a little more Annie.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Carter having an eye for the camera too. He talks about it. He did a duck there so that I could see where the gap was and where it was going.
Oh, and I thought I made that one too. Yeah, lots of good bids here, but yeah. No, I like I was saying, I like that flex play. It looks like there's a lot of trees in the way, but I've gotten lucky more times than I haven't through there.
Mm-hmm.
Birdie putt for Jared. Oh man, just off the top.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's gone from good putts on 1, 2, 3, 4 to missed putts on the last 3. Although that one is not really a gimme.
It was great commitment. It's a good miss.
Yeah.
And a good result too.
And that is an uncharacteristic miss from Carson. I think he was hoping to have his approach be a lot closer, to be fair, but that's when you see him make 10 times out of 10 most days.
Most days, man. But this is a day like no other. We're playing Northwood.
Correct.
Which actually, conversation being, we play Northwood a lot.
But
I think, leave a comment below, actually. Leave a comment below if you guys enjoy watching PLD disc golf coverage of Northwood Black. I know in future rounds, I'm definitely going to be getting catch cam for some of the blind shots too, give you guys some perspective. So, not to overshadow Underdog Sports, they are a huge player in all sports here in Central Illinois, both in Springfield and Peoria. Thank you for kicking to the tour as we go to hole 8, probably one of the most stroke-inducing holes that we have out here.
Yeah, definitely a hole where you can have huge swings from birdie looks for 6 very quickly.
OB all on the right hand side. You're essentially teeing off from what is like OB. But yeah, this whole ravine, you just have to get through past these first 5 trees. I will say these first 5 trees. Pick a gap right or left. And
I'm trying to pick the gap on the right and not quite committing to getting my forehand pushing forward enough.
And OB goes to the drop zone. You see the flags right there. On the deep side, this is more of a deeper drop zone style where you actually have like an approach instead of a jump putt.
We've had it move around a couple times on us for various tournaments that we're playing. Jared just sneaks by the tree, I believe.
I think he does too.
Did he kick something? He made the OB sign with his hands there. Maybe he kicked off the logs or something further down, but we'll have to wait and see.
And that's
a
the shot.
Very nice shot. If he keeps pushing, that's a great shot for Carter. He should have a birdie putt from there.
Mm-hmm. That looked like a mid-range too.
Yeah, I think
he's great commitment on a flat line with a mid-range.
I don't know his bag well enough, but I think it's probably an M2 or an M4, maybe an Archive. I know he throws a lot of Prodigy.
Prodigy, yeah. Oh,
and that's a surprising miss for Carson as well.
Pulling it.
Yeah. But he'll head to the drop zone with me, and maybe Jared. I forget if he's there or not.
I think there was conversation about it, and then I think he's actually safe.
There you go. And I got 1 tree to miss on that line, and I did not miss it.
And there's OB.
There's
right along that
there's
tree.
OB right next to it. Oh, Jared is coming to the drop zone with us here.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. It's a good shot.
Either.
Let's see. Carson going envy here. That's a a better shot than what I threw. I was trying to give mine a little bit of flex and didn't quite trust it to work back as well as I needed it to.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's kind of pinched off from the drop zone and from the tee. Oh,
Yeah.
we needed that.
Yeah, it's a tough putt.
But there, yeah, right where Carter is here, this is a lot of space that's unseen from the tee pad and from the drop zone. So give yourself a little bit of room to work here on the left side. You almost always have a putt. Worst case, you straddle around one of those two trees
Nice
that we
birdie
see
for Carter.
in the middle of the screen. Very good. Yes. That's a good confidence booster from the struggles and woes he's been seeing here on the front nine. So
Yeah, definitely.
great way to close out at least the second to last hole here on the front nine.
Yeah, and I believe Jared is in bounds back there, but it's tight to that back OB. Man, can't quite get that putt to go either.
Tough.
Yeah, and that's a 6 for me. The OB from the drop zone really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared tapping in his 5.
I mean, if we look at a little bit of self-reflection here,
Yeah.
if you just look at hole 1 and hole 8 here for yourself, you're at even.
Yeah. I've played fine outside of those.
Yeah.
Just couple compounding mistakes can't really happen.
I understand. All right, this is the last of the holes on the front nine.
Yep.
Go ahead and give it to us.
Playing from the pad, we just flew by on the left here. 564 feet, par 4. You're looking to basically push a hyzer out of your hand on the first shot, landing into these trees that you're seeing right in front of the drone here, and then pushing into a tight green on the second shot. A lot of times you'll see the forehand around the left side, or a straight putter or mid-range right up the gut to the basket. Definitely, this is one of those holes that plays a lot easier from the short pad than the long pad out here. There's a couple of them that take like a full stroke and a half off, and I would say this is one of them.
Gotcha.
Carter's shot looks to push a little bit too far straight. He'll still have a shot from there, but it'll be a little more pinched than he's looking for. Carson looks to be going fairway driver, I believe.
He actually pumps this.
Maybe
Yeah,
this
no
is
turn
fairway.
on the hyzer. Yeah, that's going to kind of cut a little on the inside, but it grabs.
Yeah, not a bad shot there. Probably wants a little more distance, but in a good spot. Jared, I know, is going to be trying to go big on this shot.
Yeah, he's going to do a super hyzer flip up.
Yeah, I think this is his Scorpius. And, man, pushes the right side the whole way.
And it
Oh
goes
my
long.
goes
of
around that
round
tree
yeah.
and still fights back into the fairway. That's in, like, primo position right there.
That's this one. That's the play well.
I think my choice here is between backhand roller, which is I think I'm calling the fun play, and
This
my
is the
forehand,
moment
which
where
is the
you
boring
just
play.
decided whether you were going to try to have fun or not.
Yeah.
So you were asking.
I went for the boring play.
It's all right, man.
It's probably the smart play. I've had some success with the roller here, but roller and the forehand both kind of do the same thing, which is pushing it too far straight for me.
Gotcha.
Although that actually snuck around the one tree and then gave me a perfect lie directly on the base of the fairway tree that you're trying to miss off the drive.
Yeah.
So it'll be a tricky second shot from there.
Yeah, and that marks like a 260-foot shot or so into the green. And, I mean, there's a lot of gaps to try to get through here. I think the green's well protected, especially at the edge
definitely.
of Circle 2 area. So, I mean, I personally don't have a lot of confidence in this. And, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a well-executed shot from Carson there.
Yeah, it's a good shot. He wants to be pushing it a little bit farther, I think, just giving a little more flex and trying to ride out a little farther.
Absolutely.
But he'll have a putt from there, probably 45 feet or so. I'm trying to throw this same flex forehand through the middle. I really would prefer to be throwing a backhand hyzer. I would prefer to be throwing a shot better than that, I'll just say.
I understand. Well, if there's anything to highlight, too, as you are moving forward, I think a lot of the misses have just been a little bit more Anheuser than what you were expecting.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Which I think
Is
not
that...
to make excuses.
Sure.
But I think having gone from not throwing forehands for a while into throwing, I like to rely on the forehand a lot during a tournament. So throwing not many to throwing a lot is, not
out of
ideal.
practice,
We'll
out of
say.
swing, and
Man, this is such a huge drive from Jared and can't quite get the approach to where he wants it.
that's a good looking
Oh,
up
my
right
goodness.
there.
Yeah.
Woo.
Trying to give it a little half bit, I guess. I don't really remember what I was thinking on that.
What is that disc? It's really
Just an AVR.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my super beat up
Yeah.
DX Glow AVR. Had it for a couple years, so it's very straight. Carter trying to make another long one.
Mm-hmm.
Can't quite get it to go, but gets a good check up on the tree behind. Should be just fine there.
Another circle 2 from here.
Yeah, that's the Carson we know and love.
Great bird,
Man,
too.
that's a good putt from there. That's what we're used to seeing out of Carson on this coverage.
And we'll see.
Oh, here's a
plenty of that.
replay. There we go.
All right, yeah, great. He's just hanging this out wide with his baby hyzer putt and swinging it back in.
Such good commitment, such good speed. Even if he airballs it, he's not going to be more than 15 feet from the basket there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a really nice looking putt.
And I want to mention, and something we didn't really focus on too, the air is really still in this round today too. So you can put your disc up in the air, just let it do its thing as well without the wind doing too much to impact it too. So.
Yeah, thankfully that's, even if on a windy day, a lot of the holes at Northwood are pretty well sheltered. There are a couple where it'll come into play, but most of them aren't too bad for that.
All right, and as the gents close out here, this is the scoring that we're looking at for the front 9. We've got you at 8, Carson at 1, Jared at 4, and Carter at 4. Or sorry, I missed that one. But also looking kind of in a struggle bus situation. So we'll see how the back 9 shapes up. We're back at it again, guys.
Yeah.
This is awesome, and we've got a lot of back-to-back coverage coming up for you guys. So this is Battle of Black and Blue.
Yep.
Any parting thoughts?
Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you on the back 9.
Absolutely.
There's some shots you don't want to miss out there.
You gotta watch next video. Okay? Spoiling without spoilers.
Watch it.
Watch it. You're gonna want to watch it, so watch it.
Thanks for watching.